Did you hear the story this morning? Mary Magdalene and the other Mary make a journey. They walk a great walk. They walk to the tomb of Jesus to look. To look. Matthew doesn't tell us they carried spices. He doesn't tell us they went to anoint the body. They went to the tomb to look. You know what that's like. If you've lost a loved one, you've walked to that cemetery, to that family graveyard, whatever it is, to look, to sit, to remember, to reflect. They went to look. They heard what they thought was an earthquake. An angel had come from heaven, rolled the stone away, and sat upon it. When the women got there, he was shining like a bright light, in clothes as white as snow. And he said to the women, "Come, walk a bit further. Come and see where he lay. He is not here. He is risen." It is a dramatic moment of God. A dramatic reversal. Do you hear it? The one who had been crucified is now living, and the ones who had killed Jesus, the Roman soldiers, Matthew tells us, lay on the ground now like dead men. The angel urges the women to go quickly. Tell the disciples, go on a journey once more. Go tell the disciples what you have seen. Tell them he is risen. And on their way, the risen Christ appears to them. He says to them words that we are familiar with. Don't be afraid, it is I. And then he says to the women, go tell my followers to go to Galilee. Go to Galilee. Go to that place where we've always been. Go out into life. Journey through all that is before you, and I will meet you there. The missing ingredient. Jesus, always there before us. It's been several years ago now, but I remember my very first Easter Sunday that I preached a sermon. The week before, I was walking through the campus of Southern Seminary trying to calm my nerves. It wasn't only my first Easter sermon, it was my first Sunday in my first church. No pressure. At the end of my walk, I met someone who knew me and knew that it was my first Sunday in my first church and said, "Are you ready for the big service?" Big service was relative. We had 30 in our church at the time. I said, "I guess I'm pretty nervous, though." She looked at me with a surprised look upon her face, and then she said, "Oh, you'll be fine. Just get out of the way and let Jesus do his work." Pretty good advice. Not only for preaching, but for life as well. Get out of the way and let Jesus do his work. I've not forgotten those words. For everyone out there who feels that your dreams have been destroyed, your hopes dashed, your spirits crushed, here is the good news of Easter. The risen Christ takes our flat, heavy hearts and puts back that key missing ingredient, so that our spirits are not stuck on the ground, so that our spirits are not dictated by human sorrow and pain or disappointment, so that our spirits are not mired in a tomb. Jesus walks with us. Barbara Brown Taylor notes that the miracle of Easter is not what happened in the tomb. The miracle of Easter is in the appearance of the risen Christ to the women on the way, because that's where Easter begins. That's where the miracle happened. And it goes on happening, not in the tomb, but in the encounter with the living Lord. We can go find an empty tomb, and we can say, this is where Jesus lay, but that's not where the miracle is. The miracle is as you walk your life, day in and day out. And along the way, you discover that you meet the risen Christ. He is there, and it's been there all along. In the end, the only evidence we have to offer those who ask us how we can possibly believe such a story, the only evidence we have, the only thing we can say is this: because we live.